2.8 is around the corner, and with it, new characters are coming out. In the first phase, a powerful damage dealer is coming out, RECOLETA. Welcome to her build guide. RECOLETA is a powerful mineral DPS focused around building special stacks and using her expanded Moxie to power up her ultimate. To know more about her, let's go ahead and check her kit. Her Insight 1 is the first step in her higher Moxie cap. She gains 2 max Moxie, and when another ally casts an ultimate, she will gain 1. For each Moxie consumed by this ally ultimate, RECOLETA will gain 1 stack of monomythic narrative or ensemble narrative, depending on whether the attack was a single target or multi-target one. These two types of narratives are the most important buffs that RECOLETA wants to stack. Monomythic narrative is a buff that increases the single target damage part of her ultimate by 50% each. It can stack up to 20 stack. It doesn't expire. It's only consumed when the ultimate is cast. Ensemble narrative is a very similar buff, increasing the multi-target damage portion of the ultimate by 25% each stack. It goes up to 20 stacks as well, and it doesn't expire. It's only consumed on ultimate as well. Her Insight 2 is a 15% crit damage increase, and Insight 3 gives her an extra +3 max Moxie. When entering battle, she will also gain 3 Moxie and 1 stack of Preparation RECOLETA. This is a special card called Flood of Fiction that she will receive once the battle starts, and 1 every time you cast her ultimate and consume a total of 10 stacks of either monomythic or ensemble narrative. This ability is a precast, so remember to use it in the turn you get it, or you will lose it. Once cast, Flood of Fiction will forcefully cast the ultimate of the ally with the highest Moxie at the time. Once cast, the same amount of Moxie spent will be refunded to the same person. It's basically a free ultimate cast card. This means you can double cast the same ultimate of whoever has the highest Moxie at the time, opening up lots of combination to maximize damage. It's also important to remember that this free ultimate doesn't count as extra action and that Flood of Fiction doesn't consume any AP. Let's now move on to her abilities. Her skill 1 is called Metaphysical Conceit. It's a one-target attack dealing 100 to 250% reality damage and inflicts 2 stacks of a special buff called Passion Drain. Passion Drain is a debuff on the enemy. Once attacked, the attacker will gain 1 extra Moxie. The stacks will deplete for each hit the enemy receives or at the end of the round. Her skill 2 is a mass attack called Literary Imagery. It deals 120 to 300% reality damage to 2 enemies. Depending on the number of enemies hit with this attack, RECOLETA will gain different narrative stacks. If she hits 1 target only, she will gain 5 stacks of monomythic. If she hits 2, then she will receive 5 stacks of ensemble narrative. So, depending on whether you're fighting a single target or a multi-target, this attack will give you the most suited narrative stack for the fight. Lastly, her ultimate. It's called Maze of Visceral Realism and it's a mass attack. It deals 450% reality damage to all enemies and an additional 450% on main target for a total of 900% on one target and 450 on the others. Once the ultimate is cast, it will also deplete all stacks of monomythic and ensemble narrative that RECOLETA has at that point. All Moxie will then also be depleted, and for each additional Moxie consumed after 5, the ultimate might will increase by 3% and the ally with the lowest Moxie will gain 1. If the Moxie consumed is at least 5, then this bonus of 3% will double to 6. With her kit in mind, we now know that to maximize RECOLETA's damage, we have to try and get as many stacks of narrative, get multiple ultimate might buffs, and try to consume as much Moxie as possible when ulting. Let's now check her portraits. P1 increases the max number of preparation RECOLETA stacks gained from casting an ultimate from 1 to 2. This means if the requirements are met, after casting the ultimate on the next turn you will have 2 Flood of Fiction at your disposal. P2 increases the bonus damage that Monomythic and Ensemble give per stack to 70 and 35%. P3 increases the base damage of the ultimate both AoE and additional single target damage to 550%. P4 buffs her AoE attack base damage and also increases the stacks of both narrative gained from it from 5 to 10. P5 is another base ultimate damage increase and also improves the bonus from each Moxie consumed from 3 to 6%. That said, if you're interested in picking up portraits for RECOLETA, the best one are definitely P1 for easier narrative and ultimate management with 2 free ultimates, P2 for a higher ceiling of narrative damage, and P4 for an easier time in gaining narrative stacks. Let's now talk about her Psychube. It's called the Final Roll and can be bought in the event shop. It gives critical rate as base stat and very high flat attack. As a bonus, it also gives 1.2 to 2.4% ultimate might for each Moxie owned when attacking, and if the carrier is mineral, it will also give 1 to 2% critical damage bonus for each Moxie consumed, stacking up to 16 times. When it comes to resonance, RECOLETA's best option is obviously to go full critical to maximize her damage with an elucidation frequency to get ultimate might, critical rate and critical damage. Now that we know how she works and what she needs to do to get the most out of her kit, it's now time to give her a team. So let's move on to the team building section. Due to how she works, RECOLETA really wants characters that can consume, gain or store lots of Moxie, as much ultimate might as possible, as well as useful buffs like critical rate and damage. The best option for this is definitely Melania. Thanks to her new Euphoria, she can give fixed plan to all allies, increasing ultimate might, crit rate and crit damage. She can apply Moxie Drain when attacking and can make the whole team store up to 5 excess Moxie. Her kit is basically made to play with RECOLETA. Another good option is Pickle's Euphoria. His new kit will make him a perfect support for any mineral DPS. When put behind the unit you want to power up, Pickles will be able to automatically give them 2 buffs every round, cast a follow-up rank 2 incantation which also dispels the enemy and gives rousing morale to the ally in front, all while also being AP friendly. His ultimate will also further buff the whole team. Another good option would be Lopera. Her array and bullets can buff crit rate and offer overflow crit conversion, as well as giving ultimate might to allies behind her when casting her bullets. She also gained Moxie very fast thanks to her I1, which basically means faster ultimates, which in turn means RECOLETA gets faster narrative stacks. For the sustain part, we don't really have a dedicated ultimate buffer, however there are decent options if you don't want to use Lopera or if you have one more slot to fill. For example, you could use Fatutu for fast heals and quick ultimate gain, Kakania for damage mitigation and ultimate Genesis nukes, or Medicine Pocket Euphoria for AP friendly automatic heals, shields, Moxie refund, stun and debuffs. Lastly, when it comes to future units, we have Hisabeth as a potential partner thanks to her His spam, which deals Genesis damage, generates Moxie and it counts as a ult, giving RECOLETA plenty of free Moxie. In 2.8 after Nautica will also get Moldir. Her kit is all about keeping track of allies' Moxie consumption and use it to buff herself and the team. She has an automatic ultimate repost as counter while under certain condition. She can also provide +1 AP, Moxie Drain, ultimate crit damage and crit rate overflow conversion. So keep these characters in mind while you are building the RECOLETA team. Overall, RECOLETA is the start and the core of the ultimate team. Regardless of which units you pick for her team, having her in your roster is going to be a great asset for tackling any type of endgame. That's it for today's guide. If you have any question, feel free to post a comment below or come ask me live on twitch.tv/Jakazin. Thank you for watching and see you next time.